The vast Arizona desert holds many secrets. Not all of them are meant to stay hidden.
It was very hot, dusty. You could smell the odor in the air. Just a rotten, putrid smell.
October 2004, Phoenix detective David Barnes is called to investigate the contents of a mysterious container.
I remember looking down into the tub and just seeing just a torso and seeing the white flesh of a stomach area of a portion of a man.
The dead man has a story that Detective Barnes will never get over.
How could she do that to the father of her son?
Nowhere. He'll be around this somewhere. There he is. It's the Cowboys.
At age 44, Jay Orbin thinks he has it all.
Gotcha.
His business is booming.
Good boy.
He has a beautiful son, Noah,
Okay, come on.
and a glamorous wife,
We'll just have a juice.
Marjorie.
That's right. Okay, you just.
Jay Orbin absolutely adored Marjorie. He had a ring designed for her with a large diamond in it. He had bought her a new car. He certainly wanted to ensure that she was living the lifestyle that she wanted.
Oh, God. Oh, honey.
From the outside, Marjorie seems like a devoted housewife.
She cooked, she baked, she cleaned the house, she did home improvement projects, she cared for her son.
As journalist Shanna Hogan investigates Marjorie Orbin's story, she finds a surprising past.
She grew up with ambitions of becoming a professional dancer, and along the way, her life took a X-rated detour, and she found herself stripping.
Marjorie loves having an audience of male admirers.
One of the things she cared most about was being physically desired by lots of men.
Manipulating men is her real skill in life.
She comes across as an attractive lady, very charming, very nice, very sweet, but very manipulative.
She was very good at using others to get what she wanted.
But Marjorie is getting older, and something in her life is missing.
She was able to convince people to give her things, but the one thing that she could never have was a baby.
Then, one night in Vegas, a man from her past appears. Ex-boyfriend Jay Orbin has been obsessed with Marjorie for 10 years.
Jay was a businessman. He was a wealthy entrepreneur. And every city he traveled to, he looked for Marjorie.
Desperate for her love, Jay makes Marjorie an offer she won't refuse. Marriage and the baby she wants so badly. But with Marjorie Orbin, nothing comes for free.
She made him a bargain. If she would come to Arizona and live with them for 2 years, and if after those 2 years she wasn't pregnant, then she would leave him.
For Jay Orbin, it will become a pact with the devil. Years later, Marjorie has the child she wanted, while Noah is the apple of his father's eye.
My birthday boy.
Mom controls his every move.
Marjorie had to have complete control over her son, from what he did to what he looked like. And from an early age, she was actually bleaching his hair blonde to match hers.
You had a great day, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She didn't like him to have any resemblance to his father.
Marjorie has gotten all she ever wanted from her husband. She doesn't need him anymore.
Marjorie was always talking down about Jay. What a bad person he was, what a horrible lover he was, you know, how disgusting he was.
But to discard him through divorce will leave her broke.
I believe Marjorie was to get about $700 or $750 a month for child custody. That's it.
We estimated that his entire estate was about $1.5 million.
To his beloved wife, Jay Orbin is worth more dead than alive.
On September 8th, 2004, Jay Orbin came home early from a business trip. It was his 45th birthday, but he never made it inside the house.
Marjorie Orbin's husband, Jay, is missing. Instead of grieving, she's having the time of her life.
She immediately started to drain the bank accounts. And she bought a $12,000 piano immediately. She had the house repainted. She bought new patio furniture, new water fixtures for the yard. She was maxing out the credit cards. And also, she was hoarding cash.
That's not all. Within weeks, Marjorie moves on to a new man, Larry Weisberg.
They were living like a family. Like, they had dinners together, they watched movies. She even convinced her son to call him Dad. She believed that she was going to seamlessly take her husband out of the picture and put this new man in her life.
Airbrushing one husband away for another is nothing new for Marjorie.
Marjorie was married 7 times before the age of 34. She lived her entire life perpetually in the honeymoon period of every relationship. She was in these very brief relationships that lasted about 2 years, and when she became bored or dissatisfied, she moved on to her next lover.
Former FBI profiler Candice DeLong has seen this pattern in female fortune hunters before.
Number one, they're above average intelligence, and I do believe Marjorie is of above average intelligence. And number two, there's a certain amount of arrogance about them. They actually believe they can kill their spouse and get away with it.
The night Jay came home, I don't believe he suspected anything was wrong or anything was going to happen to him.
Hello, Marjorie? Honey, what's going on?
Jay was taken by surprise and he was killed instantly.
Now Marjorie's plan turns macabre. She freezes Jay's body and reaches for her toolbox.
She actually was a woman who was very well versed with tools. Her neighbors would say that when they heard a saw going, they would joke, "Oh, there's Marjorie again with her saws."
When one is using a jigsaw to dismember a frozen body, there will be no smell, and there will be no or very little blood. When one is cutting frozen tissue, it's like going through wood.
To me, this shows an utter disregard, total contempt for the man that he once was. He meant nothing to her. His remains meant nothing to her.
With Jay on ice and the evidence cleaned up, Marjorie has almost committed the perfect murder. But greed is her undoing. She discovers that with no body, there's no insurance payout for another 7 years. Marjorie Orbin can't wait that long.
She did what she needed to do. She took part of the remains and she dumped them out there where she knew people were walking through. It was obviously intentional.
Marjorie needs police to find Jay's body. But to a forensic pathologist like Janis Amatuzio, a dead body holds many clues.
The art of identifying tool marks on bone is quite sophisticated. The particular striations or marks on the bone can be compared to a class or a type of pattern of saw blade.
Blades found in Jay Orbin's workshop match the marks on his bones. The next piece of evidence helps clinch the case. Marjorie is caught on security camera, buying the same storage containers that Jay's body is found in. Marjorie Orbin is found guilty and sentenced to life without parole.
She will spend every day for the rest of her life behind bars. She will be there until her hair turns gray and time has erased all trace of beauty from her face. I think that's the only loss I think Marjorie is actually sad about.
Maybe I got it all worked out. You can break me out of my court hearing next year.
What's that at your hearing?
You're gonna do it, right?
A dangerous prisoner
Yeah.
is about to make a daring escape. His weapon more powerful than armed guards. or handcuffs. It's the love of a woman.
She did what she was told to do by the man she loved. She would have done anything for him.
I think that is probably the hardest thing for me to deal with, knowing my daughter has killed somebody.
In a Tennessee prison, a married mother of 3 begins work as a nurse.
She worked shift at the prison, and she was getting harassed by the other prisoners. They were showing themselves to her. So one of the guards says, well, I think we have somebody that can walk around with you and help you with these problems.
Jennifer, ask and thou shalt receive. Want you to meet your new bodyguard, George Hyatt.
How you doing, Jennifer?
George Hyatt isn't a warden.
Pleasure's all mine.
Thank you, Warden.
He's a violent, hardened criminal,
Acquainted then.
serving 30 years for armed robbery and assault.
Anything you need, Jennifer? I'm your man.
Thank you.
He is also persuasive, according to Assistant District Attorney Frank Harvey.
By all accounts that we've gotten, George Hyde can be a very charismatic, charming, likable fellow.
Choosing the wrong man has been a lifelong problem for Jennifer.
Jennifer has a disorder of affection. She has to be attached to some man who she thinks loves her for her to feel complete.
The emotional weakness makes her easy prey for George.
She was at the point in her life where she thought everything was just going downhill, and he just picked her up, and she was just caught up in it.
She was easy pickings for George Hyatt.
Oh, shit! You got a shrimp, girl? Yeah.
Jennifer is happy to break the rules for her man.
Oh, baby, you're great, man.
They pretty quickly developed an inappropriate, intimate relationship. And in short order, she got fired for, of all things, smuggling into him fast food. I believe it was shrimp.
But Jennifer is now obsessed. She walks out on her husband and children and moves closer to the prison.
He, of course, had his cell phone, and he called her, and he had her on the phone 24 hours a day.
God, I wish I was there with you.
I wish you were here too.
Now that he has a girlfriend on the outside,
Baby, I love you.
he won't risk losing her.
Will you marry me?
Yeah, okay.
Jennifer says "I do" to her 4th husband in 14 years.
I pretty much looked at it as Jennifer had been married a lot and she'd made another mistake.
George soon makes it clear what he wants from his new wife.
Babe, you gotta get me out of here.
How?
You can bring me out of my court hearing next year.
George was facing so much time,
Babe, I got it all worked out.
it appears he made the decision that it was worth taking a chance.
I need to get a car, and I need to get a gun. Can you do that for me?
Okay.
Part of her really saw this as kind of a romantic adventure.
Baby, I love you.
with her crazy, wild criminal husband.
Jennifer is about to make a life or death decision. Once a warm-hearted nurse, Jennifer Hyatt is on the run. She has been shot in the hip, helping her criminal husband escape from custody.
Jennifer is the type of person that would not hurt anybody. She cared for animals. She cared for older people. She never had a mean bone in her body. So this is something that was completely out of character for Jennifer.
We're free, baby. We did it.
Now she has a price on her head. And it's all for love.
All she wanted was a chance to be with the man she loved, and it was somehow unfair that she couldn't have that. And she decided, by golly, she was going to get it.
It's August 2005. George Hyatt is on his way back to prison after a court hearing. It is here that Jennifer will prove her devotion to her husband.
They had a very specific plan. She was told by George, think this over, go through this in your mind, be prepared, be prepared, be prepared. Jennifer approached the van.
Just shoot him! Whoa, whoa, lady, don't shoot.
George said shoot, and she did.
All she heard was the man she loved telling her to do something.
Let's go, babe, let's go, babe!
Larry Harris, the other guard, drew his weapon and returned fire. Jennifer was wounded. She had to have known it at the time, but she was able to keep going.
I'm hit. Stay with it.
As Jennifer and George make their escape, Wayne Morgan lies critically injured.
These guards are not strangers to us. We knew these people on a first-name basis. So it was personal to all the people involved in the court system, and was just a shock.
It is an even greater shock for Jennifer's mother.
I was watching the internet, and something popped up that said there had been a shooting in Kingston, Tennessee. And I went, oh, this is really strange. That's where Jennifer went. So I clicked on it. Well, needless to say, it pulled up her picture and said she'd shot a guard. And of course, I kind of lost it.
Hiding in a motel in Kentucky, Jennifer hears the fateful news that will seal her future.
In an exchange of gunfire, the corrections officer was shot in the abdomen and later died in hospital.
Wayne Morgan, father of two, dies on the way to the hospital.
He did what he was sworn to do. That was to try to keep his prisoner, and he died for it. There was an immediate, massive hunt, a lockdown of areas.
Hello?
It was all over the media.
This is Deputy Nikki Ralston with the United States Marshal Service.
After 36 hours on the run, the couple are surrounded in Columbus, Ohio.
Get George and come out of the room with your hands held up.
They knew there was no place further for them to run.
So,
The first time I talked to her, she says she didn't regret anything. That was the day that she got incarcerated.
Get your hands up. Now turn around and walk backwards towards us.
She says everything was great and everything was wonderful, and she did it for the love of her life.
Hands up, higher.
I think that she was totally manipulated with this husband of hers. He had done this 5 times before, and he finally found somebody that he could manipulate to the point where she would do this for him. I do not think that Jennifer's intention was ever to shoot.
Sally Lamson believes her daughter's version.
She was holding the gun,
He's gonna shoot!
and one of the guards reached for the gun, and it scared her, and she pulled the trigger.
But eyewitnesses are adamant she followed George's orders.
If it were otherwise, why would she have bullets in the gun? Why would she bother to know how to use the gun? If it were otherwise, why would she take the safety off the gun? She had the opportunity to back away, and she didn't. She shot instead.
Jennifer Hyatt avoids the death penalty by pleading guilty to first-degree murder. She will never be released.
She cries every day, every single time holidays come around. I can't believe I did this. I don't know what I was thinking. I miss my family. I miss my children. She has all the regrets in the world. She's mostly regretful for what she has done to the victim's family.
Jennifer's problem was all about men. She had to have one. She wasn't exactly discriminating. She went from one to another trying to find herself. In the end, she found the one that brought her down.